Do you ever see something that just makes you so mad, but so motivated? We're gonna recreate this thing that Peter McKinnon has done with reptiles. Let's do this. So a while ago, I saw Peter McKinnon's video on underwater photography, and it checked all the boxes, except for one. It had tanks, water, photography, cameras, lights, but no reptiles. And I saw it and I thought, this needs an animal in it. Peter, if you're watching this, thank you so much for being such an awesome inspiration. You've really expanded my knowledge and really challenged me to see how far I can take things. So thank you. If you ever want to shoot animals or venomous animals, let me know. Hit me up. So I got super inspired and I wanted to recreate that video, but with animals. And that presented a whole new array of challenges. As always with the animals, you're looking to minimize their stress. So I took a lot of extra steps to make sure that I did things right. Because with animals, I didn't get as many opportunities putting them in the water as I would with an inanimate object. You don't need much to do this. You need a tank with treated water, you need an animal that belongs in the water, and you need a temp gun to make sure the temperature is right. You need a fast shooting camera and a bunch of lights. They call me the Godox proctologist. Now I did this with two different animals, the turtle and the smooth front caiman. And each time I redid the entire setup just so I didn't transfer any sort of possible sicknesses. So each time I treated the water and then I checked the temperature of the water in their tank and I made sure to match that in the water in that tank as to not put them into shock. But like I said, I'm looking to minimize the stress levels, so I didn't get as many reps putting them into the water as I would with an inanimate object. Nevertheless, the results turned out fantastic because as they move in the water, the air bubbles move around them. And that's not something you get with an object that sits still. But this is very easy to do. Like I said, you're going to need a lot of light. But being a reptile keeper, I had all sorts of reptile lights that I could put around it, and that really helped. Not to mention my camera lights, which put out a lot of output, so it was well lit. Because you're going to need both a fast shutter speed and a more closed aperture. That way your focus depth is a little bit wider to make sure that everything stays in focus. Especially for the fact that we're trying to nail this fast and in only a couple of reps, that is super paramount. So, great benefit of using a mirrorless is I have focus peaking. So what's blue is in focus. So it takes me less tries to do this, which is great since I'm using animals. I had Brooke help me out with this, so we cycled between who was dropping the animal in and who was pressing the shutter. We were going back and forth, that way we could work with the animal and attend to them and make sure we got the shot. In addition, we had a microfiber towel, that way we could dry the glass so we didn't have any unorganic splash, only what had just happened when you put the animal in. So there's not much about photography that I could probably teach Peter McKinnon, but I can teach him about water. Because up in Canada, you can just break up a piece of ice from anywhere because it's so cold up there. Well, here in Texas, we have to make our ice. And he was having trouble with all the bubbles along the side. Well, that's because he used cold water. So with warm water, if you make ice down here and you want clear ice, you have to use hot water. Put that in the freezer, your ice is clear. I use the same concept here, had less bubbles. Problem is, my tank isn't new, it's used. So instead, I've got just some stuff in there that I gotta clear out. Even though we had clean water and a clean tank, editing was still a pain. Because when you drop the animal in, anything that was on its skin from its previous enclosure, any tiny particulates, that's going to end up in the water. So we did a lot to make sure the tank itself was clean, but the water itself became a little more organic, alive. A couple things to look out for if you're not using professional lights. Look out for flicker on your image or banding. You don't want any of that. It can be a pain to deal with when you take it to post. Also look out for conflicting colors. So my hair light here, it's a lot warmer than my key light here. So look for that in your image. In Lightroom, you might have to mess around with your HSL sliders to make sure you don't get super blue with super warm colors, and unless that's the style you're going for. So toy with that, make sure you get matching colors. For instance, if you were using your herping lights, this flashlight's really warm, this flashlight's really cold, this is kind of a neutral, and this one's dead. Those were just all sitting in my drawer. Now in Peter McKinnon's video, he used a black background. Me, I had this universal rock background that I wasn't using for any sort of reptile, so I made sure that I put that in there to make it look like they were in a cave. It gave some awesome depth to the image and almost made you wonder if, did he take that in the wild or was he in a studio? Which is it? I love those backgrounds. They're used for so many things. Even in the Cayman's tank now, he has two of them. So editing is very time consuming. You will have to sit there and use that spot healing brush and get out all those tiny particulates, but your end result will look clean, it looks amazing, and it's going to be a super clean image that you can use for your website, your portfolio, your animal business, or just for fun. These images look amazing, and it's so much fun to highlight the beauty of these animals and really get people inspired and in awe of them. Of course, everyone loves a crocodilian, they're badass. But the turtle even, the way the bubbles went around it gave you a sense of peace and serenity, and it's just amazing. Such a great animal. And guys, please, 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 I cannot stress this enough, don't put an animal in the water that's not supposed to be in the water. I don't want to see you throw your cat in a 10-gallon tank. And I don't want to hear about you taking an animal that belongs in the water and trying to do the shot again and again and again and again and stressing the animal out. Yes, the art is amazing, but remember, it's animal first. But guys, that's going to be it for me. Thanks so much for watching. If you make something because of this video, tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. @Max'sView. Other than that, like, subscribe, all that fun jazz. It really helps me out. But until next time, see you guys later.